Hi everyone. I'm back from holidays now. As you know, I promised to do a quick video about Worlds 2020 and the group draw and expectations for teams, especially EU teams. I tried to do something a bit messy on Instagram earlier this week. It didn't go well, like trying to upload a billion stories. Who knew it could go wrong? So I thought that it would be easier to do something more clean once I'm home. I'm in Paris right now. I'll try to be as precise as possible. And yet again, it's very early. Like I started my prep 4 days ago. So yeah, everything is going well. I'll be like reading from notes that I took all week. And here, obviously, you know me, you can expect a very EU-based point of view, given that I've been working with the LEC for the whole year and the year before that, and I know all these teams, and I want them to do well at Worlds. So yeah, expect a bit of enthusiasm for EU here and there, but I'll try to stay as realistic as I can. Diving into play-in, we have the two groups here with Team Liquid and Mad Lions expected to get out of groups rather easily here. And then you have Legacy Esports coming from OPL, who appear to be the weakest team of this group. But I mean, when it comes to play-in, especially, you can expect a lot coming from these minor region teams because they have one shot to prove their worth and the fact that they belong to the world stage. And the new rule we have this year is the fact that it's going to be played in single round robin, which means that these teams are going to face each other once only. And I mean, we can expect a lot of fire knowing that, because you know how these playing matches usually go and how heated the situation can get. But I mean, yeah, situation kind of clear for Mad Lions and Team Liquid at first sight. But I mean, you know that INTZ and Supermassive especially are not gonna go without a fight. So yeah, I expect a spicy group, but also Mad Lions and Team Liquid to top their group. Maybe Mad Lions first, and then Team Liquid after the second best of 5 series. Now moving on to second group, you have LGT with PSG Talent, and then V3 Esports, Unicorns of Love, and Rainbow Seven. This group is totally different, I want to say, because LGD is supposed to top their group for sure. I know they haven't been the most dominant team in the LPL, and they gave up a few games here and there, but I mean it's playing. So I mean they're expected to do good. And then who will join them? Like who will join the group stage after that? I want to place my bets on Unicorns of Love because yeah, ex-EU team. They were playing at Worlds last year. They're coming back this year after beating Gambit in finals, and it was like a very heated finals. Outside of it, we can think about PSG Talon, but I mean they're gonna play with two new players because both of the team's Korean players, River and Tank, won't be able to enter China in time for play-ins, and Unified, their AD carry, will also be unavailable for some games because of some visa restrictions. So yeah, it's super messy for them. Apparently, the synergy is operating nonetheless, but I mean, it's a diminished team, and based on that, Uh, I have more expectations on Unicorns of Love to do good. Historically, V3 Esports, which is the LGL team, the Japanese team, historically they haven't been doing good. And here V3 is a new team. They beat Detonation Focus Mia in the finals. Rainbow Seven, it's the same history actually. We know the team's name, but it's actually brand new players. So we have two teams of very inexperienced players entering the world stage. They will give it anything, that's for sure. But realistically, I have more hopes in PSG Talon or Unicorns of Love. And based on the fact that PSG will be playing with two sub players, I think Unicorns of Love have more chances of making it, and they're expected to join them after the second best of 5 series, as we said earlier for Team Liquid. So we would have Mad Lions, Team Liquid, then LGD and Unicorns of Love joining the rest of the teams in group stage. And let's move on to group stage now. And this is where things get serious because you have very interesting groups. And I mean, to proceed, I think we have to base everything based on the teams that I predicted to go out of groups, so that this way we have 4 teams per group. So we know that LGD have to end up in Group C. I'm going to show you the groups again. We know that, yeah, they have to end up in Group C, and we know that Mad Lions would have to end up in Group D here. So let's start by Group A regardless, because in this situation, TL might end up in this group or in Group B. So let's say TL ends up in this group, which would be spicy actually, because Group B is spicy enough already. So G2 Esports, Sunning, Mashi Esports, Mashi Esports, and then we would have Team Liquid probably. So I think it looks to be the easiest group when you look at a European perspective, because Rogue, Fnatic, and Mad Lions, if they reach a group stage, yeah, they're gonna have a hard time, I guess. Fnatic may be okay, we'll come back to that later, but yeah, realistically, G2 Esport look to have the better chances here to make it out of groups, and I can actually think that they could top their group. Like, if they come strong, they had a good, they had a good second phase of playoffs. We know that G2 struggled this year, and it took them a long time to find a new form again. But I feel like the G2 esports we saw during the their last game and the game before that was actually quite good, and I was quite optimistic watching G2 playing like this coming into Worlds. They would have to play against Sunning, which has been a very strong team in the LPL this summer also. And for Mashi Esports, I know you don't know them quite well. I started my prep for them this week actually. We've never seen them in Worlds ever. They look to be a very early game focused team, which could be spicy given that we have Sunning and also G2 Esports. For Team Liquid, hoping they join, they should have to pick things up quickly, because we know that Spring Split didn't go that well for them. They had a good summer season, but by the end they looked a bit more shaky. So hoping play-ins gives them the necessary strength and training to approach group stage easily. I think they could have an interesting run, but I mean, I have a better time seeing G2 Esports and Sunning making it out of Group A. Yeah. Moving on to Group B now. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to World Championship, Rogue. But I mean, come on. I mean, when you look at Rogue and how successful they've been this year, I wouldn't want them to be put in any other group, honestly, because we're not gonna have the TSM versus Rogue timeline, which is very sad. But I mean, it's a huge task for them, and it's a huge honor to prove their worth in a group like this. Because imagine the page of history they could write here, and how no one believes in them right now, and how everyone sees that Rogue is a doomed team that is that needs to rely on upsets to make it out of this group, obviously. But I mean, it's a tricky situation to be in, but I think it's a task that they can take on, and I think that it's a journey, and it's a page of history that they can write, right? So given the other teams that they have, which is Damwon Gaming and JD Gaming, and maybe in the situation where Team Liquid goes in Group A, we would have let's say UOL and Digam with them. Yeah. I mean, Damwon, yeah, sure, they look to be one of the most scary team here entering the World Championship, and I know there's been a lot of discussion around LCK versus LPL, and I think Damwon Gaming is kind of special. Like, to me, they look to be the strongest LCK team to enter the championship, and we're gonna have so many explosive matchups. I mean, when you look at all this team, you have Yagao, Showmaker, Larson on the mid lane, which is a super hype matchup trio that we can have here in the mid lane. And I mean, Yeah, coming back to Rogue here, you have to think about Finn and how Finn would do against the likes of Noguri or Zoom. Yeah, I mean, we know that it's gonna be spicy, but if every member of Rogue can find their place, they have some opportunities, right? And I think that when you look at Worlds this year, we have a special setup with quarantine and how things are going to be able to adapt despite this. And knowing Rogue and knowing the support staff they have and the support staff they brought to China, I expect them to be a team that can prepare against quarantine. Yet again, I don't have any news on this area, and I hope I will be able to get some soon. But yeah, from what I've seen from them this year, they're expected to have the staff ready to help the players go through that. So yeah, I hope that they come off ready. I hope also coming back to Damwon Gaming, I hope that Noguri won't have any health issues coming entering the tournament. I know that he had surgery for pneumothorax, yeah, which is really heavy. He missed a couple days of training, but I mean, yeah, still expected to show up strong. They didn't bring so many substitutes, so yeah, they heavily rely on Noguri to do good here in the top lane. And then you have JD Gaming, which is one of the biggest team coming from the LPL this year. Yeah, let's remind that we won't have the defending champions fighting for their crown again this year, as we have entirely new Chinese team, with the exception of LGD that we saw previously in 2015, which was not a good story. But I mean, yeah, we can hope that different team, mainly experienced players from LGD here, so yeah, it's gonna be a different story for them. But yeah, back to Group B, we have JD Gaming. Yeah, they had an incredible run in the LPL. Outside of the last game during the finals, which could have been better, which cost them the title. I think they could have taken it here against Top Esports, but yeah, Top Esports and JD Gaming looks to be two of the strongest teams here in the World Championship, which is scary because when you look at Group B, you have both Damwon Gaming and this team ready to fight. So yeah, we can easily understand that realistically Rogue have poor chances to make it out of group here. But I mean, we know how EU teams have been able to write history and to create upsets and to unlock situations where people didn't expect them to shine. Is it going to be one of these situations? We'll see. We talked about prep, we talked about adaptation. We'll see how strong Rogue can show up. I think their best hope here is to get a good week one. I mean, I know it's easier to start with the right foot, right? But I mean, if they can get an edge and an advantage by the end of the first round robin, ending up, I don't know, maybe 2-1, they could, I mean, they could take a step back and they could maybe take some time to implement and to create other strats for the following matches. Because if they fall behind, I mean, we all know the story, Fnatic, Quick 2, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, if they fall behind in week one, I know that the team has a strong mental, but I think they also need to get this confidence boost during week one. So in this group, to sum it up, we can expect a very explosive game, a very explosive group overall. Teams will have to be creative. I mean, when I say teams, I almost need almost say Rogue. Rogue will have to be creative and have to be aggressive. They can still do a miracle run, but I mean, yeah, it's gonna be super hard, especially on their first showing. So yeah, realistically, I expect Damwon and JDG to make it out of groups. Moving on to Group C now, which is also a very interesting group. When I look at this one, I mean, I'm gonna show it again. When I look at this one, it almost feels like the old men's club because you have Team Solo Mid, Fnatic, Genji, and maybe LGD expected to join them later. So also very big names, big brands, big orgs, super big matchup also ahead. I mean, I took some notes here. When you look at the ADC matchup coming, you have Double Lift, Ruler, Reckless, and Kramer. It's super poggers. I mean, same thing for the mid lane: Bjergsen, Xie, Nemesis, PDD, Jungle, Peanut, Selfmade, Spica, Cleed. It's yeah. I'm super hyped about this group. I'm super hyped about LGD joining this group also. Um, TSM is gonna have a fun time. I don't know if they're gonna have a good time, but they're gonna have a fun time for sure. Like to end up in a group like this for their comeback here. I expect Bjergsen to have a good time here. Um, they're gonna need to be more proactive and creative maybe than what we've seen from them in the LCS. Now when it comes to Genji, uh, they had a strong performance in the LCK, and we expect them to do good here. But I mean, it's what I was saying earlier about Damwon and the rest of the LCK teams. I think there's a huge gap between them. I expect Genji to look good, to come strong, but maybe not as strong as Damwon. So here, I would like to see Genji and Fnatic making it out of groups. I also think LGD can do it, but as we said earlier, they haven't been as dominating as the other LPL teams, and in a situation of group stage and world championship where anything can happen, I want to place my bet on Europe. And then we have the last group. Here again, super stacked group as well. Top Esports, DragonX, FlyQuest, and also maybe Mad Lions if they make it out of play-ins. This group is also super interesting. I'm super happy to see the return of PoE and Ignore to the world stage. I'm also a bit sad that Rogue, Hansama won't get to play against Ignore in the group stage, but I mean, we'll see quarterfinals, why not? Now, looking at this one, it's gonna be super hard for Mad Lions again if they make it to groups. So yeah, based on the teams we have now, I want to say that Top Esports and DragonX would make it out of groups. But yet again, you know how we talked about Rogue and their prep. I also know that Mad Lions and their staff will come in very prepared. They brought the necessary stuff to go through quarantine and take care of the mental health for the players. So yeah, on the preparation side, I trust Mad Lions to do well. But I mean, Seed 1 LPL team, DragonX, who also had a good run in the LCK. I mean, I know they looked a bit shaky during their last weeks, but it's still a super strong team and players who have a lot to show. I think if we want to talk about the EU run again here for Mad Lions, it's like Rogue, they would have to get a comfortable lead in week 1 to come in and reinforce what they've been doing in week 1, in week 2, and getting a lead mentally would help them for sure. It's super hard to predict this group, especially. I think I want to see Top Esports coming out of group first for sure. Realistically, as of now, I want to say DragonX make it second. But like Rogue, we'll see my biased EU predictions a few days before the tournament. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see for now. But I mean, it would give us G2 Esports and Sunning, and then Damwon Gaming and JD Gaming, and then Genji and Fnatic, and then Top Esports and DragonX or Mad Lions. So hard. Yeah, it's so hard. I want all of them to do so well, but I mean, it's not the ideal here for LDC fans here. But I mean, we know our teams. We know how creative they can be, how they can surprise us when we don't expect it. So yeah, I'm waiting for a new page of history to be written by these EU teams this year. And yeah, I think that's all for us here. And I will see you again by the end of the week for play-ins, as I will be covering the whole event. I'm super hyped about this, by the way. I still have a lot of prep to do, so yeah, I'm going back to doing that right now. And stay tuned, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.